What's up, Stepper? So what happens if the seller wants to wait until after closing to vacate the property? Well, you have a few different options. One thing you can do is tell them to get out the property, but that's not what brought you here. You want to find out how to make the deal work. So what you will have to do is what's called an escrow holdback of funds. So first, what you have to do is decide how long the seller needs to stay in the property after closing. So let's just say, for example, they need 30 days, right? So if they need 30 days, then you will put in the additional terms and agreement that seller agrees to a 5% escrow holdback of funds that will be released upon seller fully vacating the property after 30 days of closing, right? So the language is right there, and you can type it, verbatim how I wrote it out. But what this will allow is for the seller to stay in the property after closing, and they'll receive 95% of their funds on the day of closing. And then within a 30-day time period, the 5% escrow holdback, that'll be held in escrow with the title company, which is a neutral third party. So the seller doesn't have to trust that you'll give them their money. However, the only thing, and really is a good thing and allows you some flexibility, is that you put after the seller fully vacates the property. Now, the fully vacate part can mean different things. So the fully vacate could mean that they're fully vacating the property, as in everything has to be out of the property, and your end buyer would most likely prefer that everything is out of the property. However, depending on how the deal goes and depending on your end buyer, it also could just mean that their body is fully out of the property. So it could just mean that they left things behind, but their body is fully out of the property. So this allows you some flexibility and it allows interpretation. That way, at the end of the deal, if the seller is like, hey, I'm not taking anything out of the property, then maybe you can tell your end buyer, hey, I can give you $500 to clean out the property or $200 to clean out the property, because the seller can't take anything, right? That way you don't have to go and redo the paperwork if you put that everything all belongings has to be taken out of the property. If you put that, then you could pigeonhole yourself, and that could just complicate the deal even more. All right, though, the biggest thing for this, guys, is that the seller fully vacates the property within the 30-day time period. This will allow for you to actually still close on the property. But one kind of caveat is that the end buyer, they actually may require that you hold your funds back too. That way they feel like you have, some skin in the game as well. You're not just going to, leave them with the property and with the seller in a mess, and you got your money, so you'll be able to exit the deal. So you could even bring this up and reverse engineer this tactic to make your end buyer and seller feel comfortable. You can explain it to your seller up front what an escrow holdback is. If they do need time after closing, you can tell them, hey, this is an escrow holdback. We'll hold 5% of the funds back, and you'll receive 95% of the day of closing. And if your end buyer is concerned that the seller will stay after closing, you can tell your end buyer, hey, I will hold 5% or 20%, whatever your assignment fee is. I will hold some of that in escrow as well, and that way you'll feel, for sure that we'll be able to get the seller out of the property within the 30-day time frame. Now, this will allow for you guys to close deals, so you should not have any more problems. All you have to do now is get to stepping.